At 18, I thought being a man meant that I was to prove myself capable, showing everyone, including my family, my friends, and my followers on Instagram, and even myself, that I had what it takes. But now at 23, I've discovered that being a good man isn't about constantly proving yourself. It's about becoming someone that others can depend on. Someone whose actions, no matter how small, build trust. From a very young age, society drills one message into us. Prove yourself, be the best, show them what you've got. We're taught that being a man means dominating, being capable, and standing out to earn respect. This constant pressure to be exceptional, it makes you feel like you're always in competition or inadequate. It keeps you stuck in a cycle of comparison. You give your focus and attention to the wrong things. Life becomes loud, rooms become stage shows. You avoid being real with people, you avoid being close to people. You have a narrative to uphold, a mask to wear, and people to impress. This could be at school, in your home, in church, at work. It's a damn good lie that we've been sold. Fit in and be liked by everybody. This approach is utterly exhausting. Every time you hit a goal, instead of celebrating, you feel the pressure to push even harder, go bigger, go faster. Just becomes a never-ending cycle of chasing validation, and no matter how much you achieve, it never seems to be enough. When I was 17, I worked on a farm. I managed to help my mates get a job with me. One day we were driving in the old paddock basher, going back to the lunch shed, riding on the high on the belief that we had everything figured out. Working hard, making money, and living in the moment. That was us. In that rush of trying to prove myself to the guys, I decided to push the limits. I accelerated hard, weaving around the dirt roads, determined to show everyone just how awesome I was. All my mates cheered me on, and for a brief moment, I truly felt like nothing could stop me. But as we neared the shed area, reality struck. I lost control of the vehicle, slammed on the brakes, and we collided with a massive steel roller. There were no airbags, no seatbelts, just raw, unfiltered risk. Thank God no one was seriously injured. My best mate Jairus and I walked away with some sore necks and a bit of whiplash. Yet in that chaotic moment, I realized something crucial. I'd almost lost the very thing I was meant to protect, all because I was chasing validation and trying to prove that I was the man. I was capable of being cool. I'll never forget laying in bed that night, replaying what could have been my mate's death. And for the first time, I realized that chasing validation was a shallow pursuit. Proving yourself makes your life all about your image, your fleeting success, and your reputation. But what I believe it means to be a good man is defined by becoming someone people can count on, someone who shows up every time. That's the difference between chasing validation and walking in real strength. And as you build that dependability, remember that knowing who you are is crucial too. It's another crucial key, a big key. I'll be diving into that in another video. But if we truly want to understand what it means to be dependable, a man whose life is defined by integrity, consistency, and service, there's no better example than Jesus Christ himself. He perfectly embodies these qualities, showing us what real strength looks like. Now, I'm not talking about getting shredded, getting jacked, the full six-pack, and a military-grade mindset. I'm talking about a strength that promotes real endurance. Jesus Christ is the strongest example of a good man. The life of Jesus has the world and the internet captivated. Jordan Peterson, George Janko, Russell Brand, Joe Rogan, they're all captivated by Jesus. A man who never chased validation or tried to prove himself to anyone. He knew who he was. His power wasn't in displaying strength for the world to see. It was in laying himself down for others. That's real strength. One of my favorite Bible verses, Matthew 20:28. The Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many. A true man isn't consumed with making a name for himself. He's focused on loving God and loving people, leading, remaining humble, and lifting up others. You see, real strength isn't about putting on a show. It's about showing up. every day in the small things, the unseen things. It means being the person who honors commitments, who is there when it matters, and who understands that every consistent action builds a foundation of trust. Want people to trust you more? Want your parents to give you more responsibility? Give them a reason to. Be consistent and reliable. When you give your word, it should be as solid as a promise. If you say you'll do something, follow through. Being on time, finishing what you start, and keeping your commitments are non-negotiables. As the saying goes, most men lose trust not because they fail, but because they flake. True reliability means people can count on you without questioning your integrity. To my Christian brothers out there, people should know who you serve just by how you live. When I was a lot younger, maybe 18, I used to wait for the right moment or the right feeling to act. Over the last few years, I've learned that being a good man means doing what needs to be done, regardless of how you feel. Discipline. Discipline isn't about waiting for motivation. It's about creating a system where your actions align with your goals. I set non-negotiables in my day. My time with the Lord, reading the Bible, being locked in for work, rest, and even time being present with my wife. The disciplined approach keeps me on track because motivation fades and life is going to have sucky moments. Get used to it. Something I've noticed in business and in my day-to-day, the strongest people aren't those who boast or flex for attention. They let their actions speak for themselves. My dad has a saying, and he'll love this: those who talk about it usually don't. A dependable man is a person secure in who they are. He doesn't need to prove anything because he knows who he is, and he knows his worth. His strength lies in quiet consistency and a willingness to serve without seeking the spotlight. If there's one thing I really want you to take away from this, it's this: stop chasing the world's fleeting applause and start building a life that people can actually rely on. One modeled after the only perfect example that we have, Jesus Christ. Think about it. Jesus wasn't out there trying to impress anyone. He devoted himself completely to God and to serving others. He lived a life of quiet strength, humility, and dependability. That's the kind of life that truly matters. A life where your everyday habits show your commitment to God. So here's my challenge to you. Take a good look at your daily routines. Find one area, maybe it's being on time, keeping a word, or setting aside some time each morning to be with your Heavenly Father. Find an area that's holding you back from being dependable, being the man that you're meant to be. Make a small change, not because you're looking for validation, but because you know it's the right thing to do. Let your actions speak. Let your yes be a yes and your no be a no. And let the way you live glorify God. The world doesn't need more people trying to prove themselves. It needs more people who are truly dependable. It needs more men who live with integrity, serve selflessly, and reflect the love and strength of Jesus every day. If this message hit home for you, I'm glad. I hope this challenged you. Thanks for tuning in.